Hello, hello, welcome back to this channel. In this video, we will be discussing the implications of having North Node in the first house or Rahu and Ketu in the seventh house. So let's begin. All right, so I have some notes that I've taken, and basically what I've been understanding right away is out the gate, South Node represents your past lives. I have a lot of Ketu in my own chart, so I'm very familiar with Ketu energy or South Node energy. When we're talking about Rahu and Ketu, we're talking about eclipse points, destiny, North Node, destiny, good karma, things like that. So you could meet a lot of people from your past lives. You're likely very attuned to underlying motives. You can see beyond people's veils, beyond people's deceptions or illusions. You can see energetic shifts and emotional patterns. You can sense energy, and you can usually do this even sometimes before they realize it themselves. Other people around you, for example. You could also be a spiritual guide or serve as one to other people. With Ketu in the seventh house, Ketu can give you a natural sense of spirituality relating to other people and relationships. You could see through relational games a lot faster, easier, and depending on other planets aspecting your Ketu, it impacts how you actually do this as well. You could also feel detached from others. Ketu in the seventh house of relationships could give you this feeling of maybe bad karma in relationships and needing to stay away from that area wherever Ketu rules. And for you, that's your seventh house. You can also have spiritual relationships or relationships from past lives or ghosts or anything like that. If you have Ketu in the seventh, you also have Rahu in the first house. Rahu is an area of study or learning that we're usually pushed towards in order to evolve away from past lives and to balance ourselves out. It's an area of desire. It's an area that we can actually build in and create from in this tangible world. Rahu in the first house can be that your focus in past lives was always on other people and relationships, so you're needing to move away from that and focus more on the self and your personal sense of identity, leadership potential, and beginning things. Rahu in the first house is associated with Aries, or the first zodiac sign, and the leader, the warrior, and can even be having to actually benefit from taking a more active, assertive stance in a more warlike position, and actually embracing everything that Aries more or so less represents, which is war and advocation and beginning things, right? There can also be a need to focus on the self and put your own self needs first. In earlier life, you could have been very focused or dedicated on people around you, but in later life, you'll find with Rahu in the first or North Node in the first house that your best luck will come from putting your needs first and above all else. So yeah, uh, there can be a need to advocate for oneself more so, and you might find that doing this attracts leadership or initiatory pioneering positions. You might have to actually be the initiator, pioneer, or naturally will get good karma from doing that. K2 can rule what we need to stay detached from, and for you this would be relationships, so there's a need to prioritize yourself, putting your focus on yourself and getting used to feeling in your own authentic individual power. Focusing on your physical body, the ascendant, can be something foreign to you, but is something that brings you good luck and good karma. Putting your own needs first or being a leader could also be something you're not familiar with that you may actually gain from or be a part of your destiny. You can also naturally outshine or stand out as well individually, or notice that you get a lot of individual attention. North Node, you could also find that maybe you attract people that tend to somehow take from you or want to take from you maybe attention or position or leadership. So just being cognizant of that and staying away and detached from relationships in general, or having a more detached perspective, can help you protect your position and your destiny. North Node is the eclipse point related to sun or leaders and taking a position of authority or shining. So you could definitely benefit from kind of becoming a leader or not being afraid to shine your own soul, your own individuality, your own sense of self, and your own light and your own clarity. You could also be known quite publicly as well. You could also be known as the leader or the pioneer within your field or industry, the person who makes a name for it or the main person associated with it. You could feel like your life is very fated or destined, and putting yourself first and focusing on your goals or desires leads to good karma. Notoriety for one reason or another will naturally happen for you as well. You can also be very successful in branding, in socializing, which is what Rahu represents, and being a leader in that area. So you could be really good at kind of maybe getting sponsorships or support as well, or focus in general. So maybe actually actively learning how to channel this energy or publicity could be important for you, or authority that you naturally will hold or have good karma from. What else are we saying here? Putting yourself first, right? Okay. Showcasing yourself in a social way, even if it's uncomfortable, will be important, and not being afraid to take on a position of putting yourself first in that situation. You could also be constantly reinventing or creating yourself, or adapting and changing to create a more innovative self or look. You could be very innovative, and you could also understand how to brand yourself in a way that helps put the focus on what's important to you and yourself. Um, Focusing on the new items or things in your life could also be important. Um, you could have a lot of karmic relationships with Ketu in the seventh house. You could be very good at supernaturally or paranormally doing rituals or summoning people into your life, or contracts, relationships, like using your words or visualizing, or just calling in, making prayers and calling in specific people that you'd like to work with, or contracts. You could notice you meet a lot of maybe even depending on what else is conjoining or transiting or aspecting your south node or your K2, what other placements or planets you have could attract certain people with those qualities, maybe even powerful people that help you to rise as well, or these could be people that want to drain you. But yeah, I think going at it yourself and realizing that you don't need other people will be really important if you have the north node in the first house or conjunct your ascendant. So you can also be good at morphing into leaders as well. Sorry, just give me a moment. You could also be good at getting relationships with people that already have a lot of power from their past lives, or like kind of passed on. You know, maybe they were inheriting like nepotism type vibe. You could have a lot of people around you like that, maybe. Yeah, let's see what else. Uh, You can also be very good at morphing into what people need around you. This could be like a natural tendency, and this can help you actually become more the pioneer for your group as well if you utilize it in the correct way. You could be very distant from other people. You could stay detached from relationships so that you can actually stay focused on yourself and your destiny. You might have a lot of support from ghosts or past lives, since that's what K2 rules, or people or situations from past lives. You could notice that spirits can also back on that tangent of summoning, you could summon or get the spirits to kind of align you with the right people or guide them towards you. You can also have a very individualistic profession. You could be a star player or a one-man army. You could be a force or person that is rallied around. Relationships could make you slack or neglect your own physical health or body, so that's another reason why it's important to kind of detach from the south node area, which would be relationships for you. You could also be very popular. You could learn. You must learn how to protect yourself or stay detached from others in order to be a leader or pioneer. And learning about self-care is important to learn how to nurture yourself and learn to be a leader. So this could be something unfamiliar for you, but you could be implementing new ways of being a leader as well, or being a very innovative leader in some way, shape, or form, a pioneering leader. You can notice your health improves physically and vitality-wise when you detach yourself from other people as well, because you're not spreading your energy, you're not getting depleted energy-wise from other people. And you can also see past the illusions of others or learn to be discerning. You will likely feel uncomfortable putting yourself first originally, but doing so, doing only and entirely what you do will be important. You might be used to always acquiescing to people's needs around you, mimicking or doing or looking around to what others want and letting them decide for you. But the more that you advocate strongly and easily for your own needs with just kind of authority and conviction and just kind of assertive kind of understanding deservingness, you will have a stronger destiny and more strength. If you want to understand how to do this better, just be around somebody who has a K2 or a South Node in the first house, and you'll see how easy it is for them naturally, your polar opposite, right, to put themselves first. They never consider anybody else around them. They don't care what you want, right? Especially a lot of K2 or South Node people in the first house, they don't even consider what you want. And so you have the opposite problem where most likely your K2, well, if you're watching this, is in the seventh house. And so for you, it's more easy for you to always consider other people's needs first. That's a natural past life tendency. But for you in this life, it's going to be important that you kind of embody your opposite, your polarity of people who have South Node in the first house, where it's so natural and easy for them to put themselves first because that's their past life. So learning from them on how to like always advocate for yourself and even maybe understand or use people for your own needs or means could help you to actually become the leader that you need to be, and how to delegate and because a lot of people with South Node or K2 in the first house are naturally delegate. They naturally have control over others, right? And so, yeah, just maybe consider that and learn not to care what other people want from you as well. A lot of people with K2 in the South Node, K2 or the South Node in the first house don't even I mean, it doesn't even, for them, other people are a foreign concept. They don't even, they don't even try to balance themselves out with others or make a fair deal. They are actively putting themselves first every single time. So that's something that you might need to practice and learn from. Um, Rahu in the ascendant brings a shift in your priorities from past lives. In your previous life, you could have been selfless or overly dedicated to serving others. You could have lost yourself in relationships or were codependent, but now you're more focused on yourself. This placement also gives you a heightened ability to recognize cheating or manipulation with ease, as they have learned from their past experiences. Lots of past life repetitive patterns happen in your relationships. You might notice that this mimics like a sense of familiarity, maybe with your parents or with your, maybe just some kind of unknown sense of familiarity. Maybe patterns tend to repeat a lot. Karmic cycles, loops that you need to break free from. And the only way to do this is to advocate or become yourself. You could also be the head person in your social circle. People could love being around you, but you may not like being around them, especially if they're draining or taking from you or looking to benefit off you. Relationships can hold you back or cause you to go through losses or lose your sense of self. Relationships will be draining or attract vampires, because Rahu and Ketu, if you check out my other videos, talk about that kind of vampire archetype that appears in a lot of those people's lives and roles they take. So it's either, are you the one who's attracting, or are you the one that's draining? And, especially if you're a light, which, especially Rahu in the first, Rahu is associated with the sun and being a leader, right? So it's very bright. You could attract a lot of moths, so to speak, right? So it's important you protect your energy and channel it into yourself and become more powerful Rahuvian person. Always put yourself first and allow any relationships to allow you to change yourself into a stronger version. Being a rebel can be an important part of your path because Rahu is associated with Aquarius energy. It's associated with the kind of waves of the Aquarius symbol, where we have two different powerful electric currents, eclipse points, right? Destiny, breaking out of patterns, which is also what Aquarius represents. Breaking cycles and pioneering new ways and embracing leading can be important. You might feel used to doing things with others, do it alone. So maybe you're used to people always like telling you what to do or bossing you around. It's important that you become the person that's bossing others around, or at least doing what you want. It's important that you do things alone, even if you're used to acquiescing to other people's needs. You might have people that want to latch onto you to drain you as well. Other people could project also a lot of illusions onto you. Rahu is the can rule illusions of a sort, right? So you can also understand people on a deep spiritual level, or one that's without their kind of false egoic self. Seeing what else conjuncts or aspects your Rahu or North Node can be important for additional clues regarding your destiny or life purpose, role, or self. For example, if Chiron is conjoined your North Node or Rahu in the first house, this can mean being a healer or a pioneer in healing people's sense of self or yourself. The self is the medicine. So Chiron, just you can see how if that conjoins your North Node in the first house, you might be known for whatever planet conjoins your ascendant or your North Node. Your destiny, right? So asserting your truth, it will be important, standing up for yourself as well, expressing your authentic self, breaking old codependent patterns, learning to actually create things in reality as well, like actually putting out creations. You don't just learn about healing, you embody it. Step out of the shadows of relationships and people pleasing. You're here to lead, not follow. That can be scary, but it's necessary. Don't dim your light to be accepted. Even if it's uncomfortable, you're meant to shine, and it's not wrong to prioritize yourself. Learning to say no is sacred here. Here are some mantras. I am not who I was. I am who I choose to become. It is safe for me to take up space. My life is my own and I walk it with courage. I trust myself more than I seek approval. I no longer need to be what others want me to be, and being myself is my highest service. Being bold, daring to assert yourself will be important, and learning how to be unafraid of conflict. Stepping away from needing to balance things between others and leading the way instead. People want to be dependent on you, and people who want to be dependent on you will call you selfish. You might be able to create your sense of self, constantly innovating and leading the way, pushing against conventionality. Example, Morgan Wallen, which now become to the final reason that I have his pictures on this video, actually, because he's a great example. He has his North Node in Sagittarius, which a lot of people who have fame tend to have, especially huge levels of fame, have Jupiter, or Sagittarius influence, because it represents the king or benevolent kind of expansion, and not being afraid to take risks. And he has his North Node and his ascendant in Sagittarius. I believe Kim Kardashian and Elvis Presley also have some strong Sagittarius ascendant energy, but he has more than this. North Node conjoined ascendant, and North Node is all about innovation because it's represented with Aquarius or connected with Aquarius, which is social trends and creation, right? So he being authentically you will be important, and he really shows this. There could be a restless need for self-expression, reinvention, a rapid rise, fall, and reinvention, which if you know anything about his career, there's a lot of different kind of gossip surrounding him at some points. Controversy. Rahu in the Vedic and some Western traditions corresponds with the north node lunar point, the point where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic plane going north. Confronting shadows and releasing outdated patterns, the north node symbolizes your life path, soul growth, and future karmic direction where you're evolving towards. The south node represents your past karma, habits, or comfort zone that you're meant to move away from. Morgan Wallen's career trajectory showed significant upswing after his highly publicized breakup with a longtime partner. After the split, he released his debut album, If I Know Me, in 2018, which gradually gained momentum. So just further highlighting the focus on his life, on understanding himself and putting himself first, and how that helped him gain huge momentum and rise and stardom and pioneering elements to his life. So Morgan Wallen's North Node conjoins his ascendant, which means naturally as Ketu in the 7th house, again, showing how a lot of people might be draining around him. I think he has another song that's, I think it's like Living the Dream, and it's kind of shows this kind of true honesty about kind of what giving yourself up for others can create. By 2019 and beyond, especially after a solo post-breakup, his career really took off with his hits like Whiskey Glasses and later Dangerous, the double album in 2021, which made him a major name in country music. Rahu in the first house, where personal transformations, sometimes triggered by relationship shifts or breakups, sparks a reinvention and a rise in public prominence. So very interesting how his career and his life in general, and a lot of people with Rahu in the first house have this fame that's connected with other people, and yet it's all about themselves, and it kind of puts a huge highlight and a spotlight on themselves. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little rant. Please hit like, subscribe. You can get personal readings if you're interested in tarot readings through the Buy Me a Coffee link, or you can just donate there if you appreciate the content. I appreciate subscriptions and likes very much so, and take care.